Chris. Well, hey, in your financial planning, when does it make sense to have a trust set up? And here to talk more about that is Stewart Welch from the Welch Group. Good to see you this morning.
More, Mike.
Absolutely. So first of all, explain to folks who don't know what a trust is.
Wow, trust. Okay, so I don't know. The best way to think about it is it's a box, and you take it and you put your money in it, your stuff in it, and you have somebody else that's going to dole it out to your children. So they're going to you tell them what you want, they do that for you instead of giving it directly to the children.
All right, now that we know what it is, some people may ask, well, when does a trust make sense? Because they say, well, I got a will. Won't that take care of everything if I have to leave everything to my children?
So here's a great example. I just reviewed a will for a client that the attorney had drawn, and he had everything outright to the children. She had life insurance payable to the children, and she had retirement plans payable to the children. Well, 2 of the 3 children were minors. Minors cannot receive assets, so technically the executor have to hire an attorney, go to court. Court would appoint somebody to represent the child, and then those assets would end up in some kind of trust with a court-appointed trustee. Very, very complicated.
And costly, I might add. It probably eats away a little bit. I mean,
it would be very expensive, very time-consuming.
So what's the best approach then?
I think so. The first thing is if you have minor children, you're definitely going to need a trust. And I think the question is for how long. So you could leave it in trust until they're 21, which I think is really young. Most people will leave it in trust until they're 30, 35, some of them much, much longer than that.
And when you say really young, you're talking about really young to be having lots of money at your disposal,
well, just think about it. If you're 21 and you had, I don't know, a couple $100,000, I don't know, when I was 21, that was not a good idea. Most young adults are going to benefit from a trust until they have time to kind of get some life experiences.
Right.
So you can also, and I think that covers the young adults, but also think about if you have a child that has, let's call it issues. And so a child with issues, and the worst issue that I can think of is drug addiction. So people ask me how much money is too little money to actually put in a trust, and my response is I wouldn't give any money outright to a child of addiction. So I think again that's one of those places you want to be very, very careful.
All right, so let's talk about some if a trust is an appropriate solution, just some things to consider, how a trust can be written to sort of protect you and have some of these protections in there.
So the trust, literally, Mike, if you can tell me what you want in a trust, I can figure out how to make that happen. So it is literally wide open. We'll see trusts that are written very broadly. Some trusts are written very strictly. It's really important if you have a very large estate, a multi-million-dollar estate, that you consider a trust. And in those cases, we may consider a trust for multiple generations. So instead of leaving it in trust until your child is age 30 or 40, we may leave it in there for their entire lifetime, the entire lifetime of their children and their children and their children. You may do it for multiple years.
All right, so something to look into, folks, as you do your financial planning, especially if you have young children, and get those trusts set up. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
it. All right.